I know. You're probably wondering what's going on. Well, I'm here to tell you. It's me, Inked, and I need you guys to head on over to AJsRANTroom.com and pick up your Trifecta merch. Yes, that's right. Trifecta merch is here. It is here for our Trifecta family to show their love and support and advertise for free. Well, not technically for free. You did pay for it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Head on over to AJsRANTroom.com and pick up your Trifecta merch. We're all inclusive. If Prince can wear it, so can you. Have a good one.
It's always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
What's good, fam? Welcome to the Rant Experience. I'm your boy AJ, and we got a lot to talk about this evening. First, we're going to start with our politics fix. We're going to get into, actually, this is the first time I think one person has been part of both the politics fix and the uncomfortable conversation. But Barack Hussein Obama, might be in a little trouble, got some explaining to do, according to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. So we'll get into that. We'll also get into some newly declassified documents about Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. What's been buried for decades might change how you see American history forever. And while we're on it, we'll just move on to our uncomfortable conversation where we'll unpack yet another Obama-ism, where he made the statement about young men needing homosexual men in their lives. Yeah, you heard that right. And I've got a lot to say about that, of course. Brace yourself. It's about to get really uncomfortable for the woke folks. And for our Turntable Rewind, we're going back to 2002, the year chart toppers, the bangers, the top movies, the cultural moments, and all that and more. Plus, we have an awesome light to shine on the absolute disaster that was Woodstock 99. And spoiler alert, I have another nice throwback picture you'll enjoy. And we've got a hilarious Leave Me Alone segment that will keep you hollering. At least it had me hollering while I was editing it. And we have a bunch of, oh no, not that. And an inspiration point that will charge up your week. Actually, it changed. So, but it will be a great in memoriam for Malcolm Jamal Warner, who we recently lost. All that and more coming up on the Rant Experience.
Thank you for tuning into the Rant Experience. This episode is brought to you by our official merch store, AJsRANTroom.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you get new uploads and live streams hot off the presses. We drop a new episode of the Rant Experience every Monday, and now it's time for a politics fix.
Extra, read all about it. The Department of Justice just confirmed that President Obama ordered the FBI to shut down the Clinton email scandal. FBI Director Comey followed orders and buried it. That was a clear, high-level criminal cover-up. Watergate-ish? Let's see. Hopefully, we'll get into the data of stuff, but we will see what's past the statute of limitations, what are protected by presidential powers, because things are things. You want to give presidential powers to Trump, Obama has it too. You want to give it to Trump, Biden has it too. So It is what it is. Actually, what I should have done today was pull that crackhead interview from Hunter Biden, but we didn't have time to prepare that for the show. But the declassified DOJ report exposes the FBI got hacked US data from a source, but never fully reviewed key drives. Oh, we're so shocked. The data showed Obama's emails and State Department info were compromised. Oh yeah, but the signal servers, everybody. Obama used Loretta Lynch to pressure Comey and avoid a Clinton-related scandal. Obama approved using federal powers to blunt the Clinton investigations. Oh, okay. Comey decided to exonerate Clinton before key interviews were done, of course. But we literally read her crimes before her, and she still got off. Must be nice. Evidence suggests Lynch tried to influence the probe or leak info to Clinton's team. The FBI drafted a memo to access the drives, but access was killed by Obama's DOJ. And now for the juicy part. Here's Tulsi Gabbard breaking it down for you.
Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Director, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Good morning, Maria. Thank you.
What was the most damning thing that you learned after looking through all of these declassified documents?
Maria, the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back to something Devin Nunes said, which is exactly.
So, will Obama be arrested? Probably not. I really doubt, but I do think there will be some heat on some of his former cabinet members. I do believe the statute of limitations has run out on some of these things, but of course, in classic fashion, the Democrats have dismissed everything because, of course, why take accountability when you can just deny and everybody will believe you? So here we go. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, called for several Obama administration officials to face criminal prosecution for participating in a treasonous conspiracy surrounding the 2016 election on Friday afternoon, the latest example of Trump administration targeting critics of the president. Is that what he's doing? Did you simply critique him and he's going after you? No, I think it's a bit more than that. But I wanted to pull an article from a left-wing nut job like Politico, because this way you could see how these people are feeding the news to these brain dead folks who read this crap on the daily. In a newly declassified report, Gabbard on Friday alleged the officials manipulated and withheld key intelligence from the public related to the possibility of Russia interference in the election. In a Friday afternoon statement, Gabbard said she would provide all related documents to the Justice Department, quote, to deliver the accountability that President Donald Trump, his family, and the American people deserve. Quote, no matter how powerful, every person involved in this conspiracy must be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. The DOJ declined to comment on Gabbard's comments. Of course they did. The ODNI's memo names former DNI James Clapper, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former FBI Director James Comey, among others, allegedly involved in the White House review of possible Russia meddling in the election. The administration has routinely targeted critics of the president and has sought to relitigate the 2016 and 2020 presidential elections. Yeah, I wonder why we're trying to relitigate something, because we know that y'all weren't forthcoming with the American people. That's why we're trying to get to the bottom of it now. To sit up here and act like, oh, well, it's in the past, it's dead and buried. This is the MO, because you know there's something there that they're going to find. And then you really can't deny it. Like when Joe Biden got on that stage last June and he was half dead, and you could no longer deny that this man should have never been president. The president has repeatedly criticized former intelligence officials for their efforts to probe the Kremlin's possible attempts to interfere in American politics, with Trump accusing Comey of leading a, quote, corrupt and vicious witch hunt against him, which they did. He has stripped security clearances of prominent Obama and Biden-era officials and has long promised investigation into public figures he views as enemies. In April, he ordered an investigation into Christopher Krebs, hope I said that right, who was Trump's cyber and infrastructure security agency during his first term, and prominently pushed back against Trump's stolen 2020 election mythology. Funny how it's a mythology when you're about to get busted. Now, look, do I think they're going to find enough? I don't know. But you can't say they didn't look. She referred who she referred. And I saw that Matt Walsh said earlier that if nothing comes of this, Tulsi Gabbard should be fired. She did her part. She did her part. She did the investigation. She referred it to whom, right? And so to say that you're required any more information after that from her is crazy. It's up to them after that. She did her part. You people, oh, Matt, be quiet. Where am I? Gabbard's Friday report centers on intelligence that, quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome in an attempt to discredit larger investigations into and warnings about Russia meddling in the 2016 election. Obama-era officials said shortly after the 2016 election, there was no credible evidence of voting totals being manipulated, even as a third-party candidate filed for recounts in swing states. So you lost. You lost the game, Hillary Clinton. It's over. Yeah, you may have gotten, quote, 4 million more votes, but we all know that the popular vote is a formality. You didn't campaign where you should have campaigned. You didn't fight for it the way you should have fought for it because you thought you were entitled to it. Because you're a Clinton. But you didn't get the memo that America is sick of dynasties. Political dynasties are dead. Trump killed the Bush dynasty, the Cheney dynasty, and the Clinton dynasty, all in his first term. It's over. Mark Elias, a powerful Democrat attorney who represented Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2016, said in a response to the recount that the campaign had, quote, not uncovered any actionable evidence of hacking or outside attempts to alter the voting technology. Rep. Jim Himes accused Gabbard of rehashing decades-old false claims about the Obama administration. Deny. In an attempt to change the subject in a Friday afternoon statement. Quote, baseless accusations of treason are unfortunately par for the course for the Director of National Intelligence, but that doesn't make them any less damaging and unacceptable. Himes said, quote, the IC leaders in 2016 understood that they took an oath to the Constitution, not President Trump. I wish Director Gabbard could say the same. You know what? But hold on. There was another part of this article where he literally, and you tell me if he sort of contradicted himself. While it found that, I think this is it, while it found that the Trump campaign team's contacts with Russia officials present a, quote, grave counterintelligence threat, the bipartisan committee report did not reach a conclusion either way as to whether the president's allies had knowingly colluded with Moscow to boost his chance in the polls. This is such bull. The report endorsed at the time by then Senator Marco Rubio, Florida, now Trump's Secretary of State, who served as acting chair of the Senate Intelligence Panel when the final volume of its report was released. In other words, you're shaking in your boots, you're holding your breath, and every day you're checking to make sure the big boys don't show up at your door. Here's the thing. This is a good thing. This is a great thing. And I'm glad they're putting in some work, and I'm glad they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And this is why I don't care about the Epstein files. This is why the Epstein files mean nothing to me and never really have. Because I want to get to the bottom of the real situations, the real stuff that concerned me about the 2016 and 2020 elections. So when you see people moving like this and y'all are worried about a list that you never gonna get, even if it exists, you're never gonna get it. Oh no, I'm good, Claude. I like Claude. Claude's a good name. Anyway, moving on. Wait, I lost it. Wait, I got it back now. All right. So moving on to another fascinating story from Tulsi Gabbard. The Trump administration releases thousands of previously classified MLK assassination documents. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, announced the release of over 230 files related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in response to an executive order from President Trump. Quote, the American people have waited over 60 years to see the full scope of the federal government's investigation into Dr. King's assassination, Gabbard said. Under President Trump's leadership, we are ensuring that no stone is left unturned in our mission to deliver complete transparency on this pivotal and tragic event in our nation's history. I extend my deepest appreciation to the King family for their support. Did they support? The files are being released as part of Trump's committee to release previously classified documents related. Thank you for jumping. To King, as well as President John F. Kennedy and Senator Robert F. Kennedy. The latest batch of files includes details about the investigation conducted by FBI into King's assassination. Some of the documents pertain to discussions of potential leads, internal FBI memos regarding the progress of the case, and those related to James Earl Ray's former cellmate, who stated he discussed an alleged assassination plot with Ray. Additionally, the release has foreign evidence from Canadian police regarding Ray's fleeing from the country after King's assassination. Quote, the American people deserve answers decades after the horrific assassination of one of our nation's great leaders, said Attorney General Pam Bondi. Oh, look at Pam. Pam making up for them Epstein files, y'all. Quote, the Department of Justice is proud to partner with Director Gabbard and the ODNI at President Trump's direction for this latest disclosure. King's children, Bernice and Martin Luther King III, have previously opposed the release of the documents and on Monday released a statement, quote, we recognize that the release of documents concerning the assassination of our father, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., has long been a subject of interest, captivating public curiosity for decades, the statement read on X. As the children of Dr. King and Mrs. Coretta Scott King, his tragic death has been an intensely personal grief, a devastating loss for his wife, children, and the granddaughter he never met, An absent our family has endured for over 57 years. We ask those who engage in the release of the files to do so with empathy, restraint, and respect for our family's continued grief. Now, Gabbard announced in April that the documents related to the 1968 assassinations of RFK and MLK would be released in the coming days, noting that over 100 people were working around the clock to scan paperwork related to both killings and subsequent investigations. She told Trump during a cabinet meeting at the White House in April that the documents had been sitting in a storage for decades and had never been scanned or seen prior. That's crazy, bro. Upon taking office, Trump issued an executive order to declassify files on the assassinations of King, a civil rights icon who was gunned down on April 4th, 1968, outside of his second floor Tennessee hotel room in Memphis. This is what we voted for, people. This is what we voted for. This is what we need, folks. This is the transparency we voted for. Now, if you get the Epstein files, that's great. I know y'all love the Epstein files. Look. I don't know about Epstein. I don't know about MLK being the Diddy of his era. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. All I'm saying is this is a good thing because regardless of whatever his lifestyle may or may have been, he should have never been assassinated in the way that he was. That's the bigger point here. That's the bigger point. And that the fact that these files have been sealed for almost 6 decades is crazy to me. And the fact that nobody ever reviewed them is even crazier. So yeah, we're getting to the bottom of some things in our history. And I don't understand how you can even write like a screenplay on Martin Luther King without these files. How could you write anything about his life, or even especially at that moment in his life, without knowing what was actually happening to him on the back end via the FBI and the CIA? So these are very important documents, and it's very important to see what they said after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. But anyway, what happened on this day in American history?
So what happened on this day in American history?
In 1861, the first major battle of the U.S. Civil War took place in Virginia. It shattered illusions that the war would be short and easy. In 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first human being to walk on the moon after landing with Apollo 11. He famously said, quote, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In 1999, the indie horror sensation The Blair Witch Project opened nationwide. This was after a limited release in July, revolutionizing viral marketing and found footage filmmaking. And in 2002, American Idol Season 1 was in full swing, just weeks from crowning Kelly Clarkson as the inaugural winner of the program. Artists like Ashanti, Pink, and Eminem were climbing the charts, and Austin Powers in Gold member was about to release on July 26, hyping up pop culture for Beyonce's film debut as Foxy Cleopatra. Now, are we ready for an uncomfortable conversation?
Rant summer is here. Head on over to AJsRANTroom.com. We got all of your summer needs covered. From bathing suits to swim trunks, flip-flops and tote bags, towels, tanks, and muscle shirts. Oh, and you can't forget about the visors and the hats. It's lit. So head on over to AJsRANTroom.com and get your summer poppin'. You won't be disappointed.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
Mm-hmm. One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
one of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Barack Hussein Obama done bumped his head. I'm reporting on this twice. I just couldn't just let it go. I couldn't let it go. I didn't make a video. Maybe if I had made a video, I would have let it go. But I can't let it go because this right here. No. We don't get to do that. You don't have to be gay to show compassion to people. That's not a necessity to express compassion. You don't have to be gay to be empathetic. You don't have to be gay to be tolerant or open-minded. That's just basic human decency. It was, it started off strong. It started off strong, and then you had to take that detour into Gayville. For what? For what? So there are no empathetic straight men on the planet who can lay down their heart and let you talk to them. None. That's not about who you go to bed with. That's about your character. But somehow in Obama's twisted logic, he had to turn to degeneracy, to basically give us a prerequisite to his queerness. Oh, Baraki. Nah, this ain't progress. This is an agenda. These people are literally pushing an agenda. This is propaganda wrapped up in a smooth speech and a Harvard smile. He still got it. Sweet Dick Willis still got it. Obama get you up on that stage, he could talk about nothing. Everybody be like, yeah! Even Republicans. Everybody fell for the Obama. He got the Zaza Zoo. He got the magic. He could talk you out your draws. But we're wiser now, Obama. We're wiser. And this pandering to the loudest voices in the room, while ignoring the reality on the ground, is tired. It's played out. It's corny. But let's take a rewind right quick to May 2012, when Obama famously evolved on same-sex marriage, right on cue with the cultural tide. By 2015, marriage equality was the law of the land after the Supreme Court's decision. Fine, whatever, agree or disagree, that's the history lesson. But here's one thing. History don't give you a blank check to keep pushing narratives that spit in the face of reality. Reality is boys need men, period. Boys need men to raise them into men. Masculinity is not toxic. It's not outdated, and it damn sure isn't optional. When Obama is doing what Obama is doing isn't just bad advice, it's an all-out assault on manhood. He's trying to normalize a mindset where young Black boys are told they need to be mentored by gay men specifically, as if sexuality is the key to wisdom. Who you banging doesn't mean you're a good person. Doesn't mean you're wise. Doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean you're brilliant. It doesn't mean you have the skill set to raise a man. Young men don't need a homosexual man to, quote, impart goodness on them just because he's homosexual. That's not how character works. That's not how manhood works. That's not how mentorship works. This line of thinking is ridiculous. It's absurd and offensive and downright dismissive of the thousands of great fathers, Black fathers out there who do a damn good job every single day. Fathers who don't need validation from woke Twitter or X or whatever you call it this week, rainbow colored corporations to know that they matter. You know you matter in how your children turn out. So I gotta ask, is Obama just dangling his homoerotic beliefs in front of us? Is he testing the waters to see how far Black folks will let him push? Let's be honest. Because we didn't have to have this conversation at all. He could have left it at men can't be everywhere every time all the time for their children. So cool. You might need another tribe of men to help out. And you could have put the period on the sentence right there. But you decided to go off into your diatribe about some story that may or may not be true. I really don't believe that story's true. Because who cares if the professor was gay? Who cares? Are you a good professor? Can you get the job done? As long as you're not trying to touch my butt, we cool. I don't know why people don't understand that. At the end of the day, my concern isn't with his personal bedroom business. It's with this strategy attempting to desensitize our people, our children, to things we know deep down are morally and socially unsound. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the media blitz, tired of the culture war, trying to infect kids with confusion and perversion. Tired of being told that to be a, quote, good man today, you have to check off every box in the progressive handbook, including accepting narratives that don't even make sense. Yeah, gender is limitless. Well, how can I identify these other genders? And no one has ever been able to answer that question. No one. How about you just be a man? That's it. Nobody cares who you banging. That doesn't make you more virtuous, more empathetic, or more capable of mentoring boys into manhood. Being a man does. Standing on principles does. Living with integrity does. Barack, respectfully, or respectfully-ish, you are absolutely 100% dead ass wrong on this. And we're not buying what you're selling, bro. I knew once the mission was fulfilled and folks got the right to marry, and I've always said, my position has always been, if you pay taxes in this country, you should be able to be with whoever the hell you want to be with. Just don't call it marriage. I think it should have all the protections that legal protections that you, like if something happens to your partner, no one, his family or her family should not be able to come in and take half your shit. I agree with that. That I stand with you on. But I don't agree with calling it marriage. And I said that from the very beginning. It should not be called marriage. I said what I said. But again, here we are. In the Matrix, with the former sitting president pushing his gay. I mean, how much more gay do we need to get in this country? How much more gay do we need? You can marry, you can live your life, you can protect your property. What else do you need? You need the youth, because you need more duplicates of your agenda. Oh, Jesus. Not RuPaul. So I hope I was thorough, Mr. President, former Mr. Former President, however you say it. Quite frankly, this was probably, I didn't watch the whole podcast. People were like, you should watch the whole thing. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I mean, I remember watching like MSNBC all day because it was just so pro Obama, and I was like, yeah, they hate Obama. And then by the second term, I was like, what the hell? So I thank you. I do thank you for that, Barack Obama. I thank you for that. You really got me to deep dive into politics. You really got me to think. You really got me to go behind the curtain and really figure out how things work in our government. And I think without that, I probably wouldn't have done much politically. I probably would have just been like, yeah, I'm this or I'm that or whatever, and just kept it out and my business. But yeah, and I can't believe I'm about to quote a Tyler Perry movie, but my favorite Tyler Perry movie, it will probably the few I've seen, The Family That Prays. That's a really good movie, in my opinion. That's if Tyler Perry had never done another movie, he could have just stopped at The Family That Prays. I mean, you have Kathy Bates, Alfre Woodard, Sanaa Lathan, Taraji P. Henson, even Tyler Perry was good in this, and Rockman Dunbar, all great. They were all great. Tour de force performances. The supporting cast was great. But there was one line when after Kathy Bates's character commits suicide and they're at the funeral, and Alfre Woodard said, I'm paraphrasing, you have to understand that you could raise your kids up to do whatever to be great people, but you have to understand that you're not their only influence. And that sometimes that outside influence can be stronger than the inside influence. So yes, it is your duty as a parent, mother or father, to protect your kids. And regardless of sexuality, my future kids could probably be watched by, without me there, a handful of people. A handful of people. It ain't got nothing to do with who they banging. It ain't got nothing to do with their life. And everything to do with the fact that I know that there's a lot of crazy ass people in this world, even people who look normal. And I really don't want to fuck around and find out and lose my freedom. So, very limited. So protect your seed, protect your tribe, protect your village, protect your people, because that's what really matters here. Not all this other stuff. We could sit here all day and talk about who's doing what to whom and for what. That's just gossip. Nobody cares. So don't listen to Barack Obama. You don't have to be dubbing peanuts to be a good person. This is our Turntable Rewind. Woo! Rewind back to the time. I knew that was going to happen. There we go. All right. The year is 2002, and the number one joint on the Billboard Hot 100 is Getting Higher. This was a major summer track anthem and spent 7 weeks at number one, produced by the Neptunes. It played a huge role in solidifying Nelly's place in early 2000s hip hop and pop culture. Now, if you don't know that song, I don't, even if you don't like rap music, you know this song. Anyway, followed by the number one album on this day in the year 2002 was also by Nelly, his Nellyville album, fresh off the momentum of his number one single, Hot in Here. Nelly's second studio album debuted at number one and dominated the charts, and included other hits like Dilemma featuring Kelly Rowland, which was another banger. Like, how, if you don't know Dilemma, I don't know. And Air Force Ones. The album sold over 715,000 units. Wait, 715. I said that the first time, right? I thought I said 750. 715,000 units its first week, and helped define the sound of early 2000s hip hop. Now, of course, the number one movie on this day in the year 2002 goes into the string of movies that I've never seen, which I've never seen any of these number one movies from any week on this show, which is crazy to me. But The number one movie was Road to Perdition. Did I say that right? Okay, cool. Starring Tom Hanks, Paul Newman, and Jude Law, directed by Sam Mendes. It grossed $22.1 million its opening weekend. A beautifully shot gangster drama set during the Great Depression, praised for its cinematography, acting, and storytelling. It later won the Academy Award for Best Cinematography. Oh well, maybe I'll go check it out. And you know what I didn't do? So please hold. I did not set up. Hold on. Wait a minute. Stretch. La 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 la. We're stretching right now. We're stretching. Boo bit what you got. All right. Yeah. My name is AJ. I'm from New York. There we go. There we go. This you. All right, go back. History view. Zoom out. There we go. Boop it. What you got? All right, we ready to go. Bam. Not putting me on the camera while I'm looking for stuff. Now let's go back to I remember watching this on MTV, live on MTV, because I was fascinated by all of the chaos that was going on. But Woodstock 99 is actually about to be 26 years old. It was the worst of times and a turning point for U.S. festivals. The alleged sexual assaults, riots, and gate crashing marred the legacy of the 1969 original while setting the stage for the safer events of the early 2000s. Get the advertisement off of my screen. Wait, did I missed a whole paragraph. Trigger warning. The following story features discussions about rape. Can we say the whole word? And sexual assault. The first thing that hit you was the unbearable, eye-watering, putrid stench. That's a way to open up. The slow realization that some of the mud the kids at Woodstock 99 were rubbing all over viciously sunburnt, exhausted bodies and tossing at each other was not, in fact, just mud. The sight of hundreds of young concert goers wallowing in the fetid pool of human waste mixed with dirt pooling around the porta potties would have made me sick if it wasn't the 20th worst thing I would have ended up experiencing at Woodstock 99. It was just one of the many flashing danger signs of the sinister, apocalyptic vibe that slowly spread across the 3-day festival 26 years ago now, which was, of course, intended to honor the original 1969 Peace and Love gathering on Max Dairy Farm in Bethel, New York. Instead, what became a disastrous cash-in and a goodwill of the original, following a well-received reboot in 1994 featuring Metallica, a mud-caked Nine Inch Nails, Bob Dylan, and Green Day, turned into a fiery nightmare ending in riots and reports of 4 alleged rapes and multiple sexual assaults. I was there. I watched in disbelief as more than 200,000 attendees baked on the tarmac, gouged by promoters selling $4 bottles of water and flavorless $12 pizzas. The 3-day event got progressively weirder, darker, and scarier as attendees whipped themselves into a testosterone frenzy to the strains of bro bands like Insane Clown Posse, Korn, Limp Bizkit, and Buck Cherry. The many stories I wrote on site alongside my colleagues at the pioneering online music magazine Addicted to Noise, which later included a 20-plus part award-winning investigative series spearheaded by reporters Brian Hiatt, hopefully I said your name right, and Chris Nelson, that dove into the nitty-gritty of what went wrong and are lost to history now. Following Paramount's recent decision to pull the entire MTV archive offline. That's crazy. But those memories are still seared in my brain. And at the time, I remember quickly dashing off a bleary-eyed day after essay the morning after, I read that all wrong, the morning after the fires, assessing the damage to the site, the psyche, and the legacy of the beloved original 3 days of peace, love, and rock and roll. I stayed on site all night reporting on the aftermath at Woodstock 99, watching as black helmeted stormtrooper like police in riot gear marched into the chaotic scum. While looters smashed ATMs and vendor carts, setting fire to 18-wheelers filled with soft pretzels and crashed through the comically flimsy, daisy-covered peace wall meant to keep the non-ticketed hordes off site. Those depressing scenes came days after the days of watching young men harassing many topless women who had their chests adorned with glittery paint at airbrush stations, while female artists such as Alanis Morissette and Sheryl Crow were greeted by cheers mixed with endless frat boy bellows to show us your tits. A dozen state troopers and police supervisors were later demoted or suspended for posing in photos with topless women or agreeing to have their cruisers washed by nude attendees. What the hell? I didn't even know all of this. The MTV news crew was forced to flee the scene in a hurry after amped up rioters began shaking their broadcast tower during the final night as fires broke out during the Red Hot Chili Peppers headlining set. Quote, "Holy shit, it looks like a apocalypse now out there," singer Anthony Kiedis said as he looked out on the flames and smoke rising in the crowd. The veteran band had taken the stage wearing hard hats rigged to shoot flames in the air, and their decision to cover original Woodstock performer Jimi Hendrix fire proved to be ill-themed. Oh shit, no they didn't. As it was performed while a series of half a dozen massive bonfires set flames into the sky over the garbage-strewn field. Oh God, I could imagine what it smelled like there. The fuel for those fires charted of what promoters had referred to as perimeter securing peace fence. After suffering legendary gate crashing at the original peaceful event in 1969, which eventually swelled to 500,000 attendees, the 1999 promoters said beforehand that they were determined to lock down the military site. And in an effort that was comical until it was tragic. Their solution was nearly 6 miles of plywood and steel fencing surrounding the tarmac, a barrier over which some fans easily tossed contraband to each other. Yo, pass me that, and which they eventually breached on the final night. As the chaos erupted, I watched a steam of locked out fans easily scale the wall. They were no match for the overwhelmed, by then exhausted, uniformed force, which included more than 500 music fans in yellow Peace Patrol t-shirts who had a total of 2 or 3 days of training. Wow. You had 2 or 3 days of training before you had to deal with an event of this magnitude. That's crazy. Look at that. Jesus. Yeah. Arrest everybody involved. Yeah, you got it. It was a bad event. It was terrible. It was terrible. And it should have never happened. But so goes music history. Ugh, Jesus. Anyway, where are we? And now it's time for an AJ Throwback. There we go. Ain't I pretty? Listen. So this was a photo shoot for my this was the first photo shoot we did actually for my dance company. So this was one of the looks. Yeah, I look crazy now. I would never wear this today, but then this is what it was. I don't care. Do whatever, think whatever you want. I don't care. The only thing I wouldn't do today is the upside down cross in the middle of my forehead. But other than that, I'm actually, to piss you off, Prince. You lucky I don't have this shirt no more. Yo, Marilyn Manson was one of my people at this time. Like I was Marilyn. I had this beautifully custom made trench coat. Oh, it's beautiful. I had these like super high black platform shoes. I was out there, bro. But I like the look. The look is dope. Oh God. You know what? I think this is the first time I got my nipples pierced. I think it's the first time. And whatever, you know, we were young and in some ways dumb, but we had a lot of fun. First of all, don't be giving that look, Claude. I don't like that. Don't be judging me. We've seen your throwback pictures. Yes, Hetty Boo, they are pierced. I had them pierced 5 times for various reasons because I'm a dancer, so they would fall out, they would reject. So different reasons. They would fall out in my sleep, you know. So listen, some people get tattoos, I got piercings. So it is what it is. I never pierced anything below the nipples though. So just to be clear, everything is above. You know, ain't nobody got you ain't playing with that part of my body. No. So yeah, they went from rings to the one with the balls, the barbells. There you go. But anyway, before we indulge and get a little crazier and something else is typed in the comments that I feel is coming. Yes, I am actually Lenny Kravitz's long lost son. You know, if Lenny Kravitz was my pops, I would fit right in. I would fit right in. He still likes see-through shirts to this day. Yes, and I had a septum piercing before they were cool. I had a septum piercing. Yes. I miss my septum piercing. I would get it again, but I'm good. I'm a grown ass man. You know, I don't be like Pharrell. Pharrell, you know, he had all them tattoos that he had removed. He's like, yo, I'm a 40-year-old man with fire on my arms. Yo, let's get some control here. But anyway, and I don't have the piercings anymore. They started rejecting maybe 5 years ago, and so I had to take them out. And then I have a lot of scar tissue, so they said you probably shouldn't do it again, and I probably won't. You know, I'm grown. I think we had a good run. 5 times is enough. I don't think 6 is a charm. Anyway, man. Wait. First of all, that look. Man, leave me alone.
So just leave me alone.
He said he came from Jamaica. He owned a couple acres, a couple fake visas, cause he never got his papers.
Young women, you are not a cover girl. You know that young man is gay. Gay. I'm so glad he's gonna.
Be nice. I'm finding it.
Oh my God! I woke up in a new Bugatti. I woke up in a new Bugatti. No. This woman is the only woman I've been inside of, and when I'm thirsty, I drink her.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that? Bitch, you...
I like to thank my beautiful husband. My beautiful...
Damn! But I can't.
Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire in their eyes, and there was a lonely so be like, just be like.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I wanna dance and love and dance.
Nice.
Passenger, she reached out to us and she said that not only was she not allowed to board her Spirit flight, but she says her sister was arrested.
Breyer says it all started over this outfit she wore to the airport. She says she wore similar shorts while traveling on a plane to Miami on Sunday.
And these is just regular shorts. This is how I walk through the airport. This is how I walk through the airport with these shorts on. With my robe. This is exactly how I have my clothes.
What smell?
It smell like budussy, booty, dick, and pussy. I'm telling you, it's all up in here. Nothing.
You're so funny.
Nothing sick in here.
Tavares, right in the butt?
What?
No.
It's out the season.
Nothing beats it.
Ooh.
Right now,
Oh my God.
Uh-oh, yo.
Why would she?
Okay, let me find it. I'm laughing so hard I'm sweating. All right. Now, let's land at our inspiration point. So, as many of you know by now, Emmy Award nominated actor Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. I don't believe it was today, but we got the report that he passed away today. And he was 54 years old. It's believed to be a drowning accident where he got caught in a rip current. And just like that, gone. ABC is reporting that his body has been identified by Costa Rica's National Police. And the first thing I started thinking about, because the original video for this segment, I was like, oh no, that goes out the window now, because I don't only think this when people die, I also think this just every day. And it's like, live your damn life, because you just never know. I mean, life is truly short. It like stupid short. Like we're not promised the next 5 minutes. So why the hell are so many of us out here living like we have unlimited tomorrows? We don't. Why are you still talking about what you're gonna do instead of just doing it? One of my favorite XXX Tentacion songs is called What Are You So Afraid Of? It's a simple, but it's a powerful song. Because that's the real question, right? What are you so afraid of? We've been so conditioned to go along, to get along, to do things in a certain way, to got to do life like this. And what are you pretending not to know? How many excuses did you feed yourself today? How many ways did you talk yourself out of doing that thing that's been sitting in your heart, sometimes for years? That book, that business, that call, that dream. You're more worried about how you look than how you live. Ooh, y'all ain't ready for that. Ooh, y'all ain't ready for that. Let me hit you with something really uncomfortable. If you die today, what dreams would die with you? What ideas would stay locked in your head, unknown to most of the people around you? What regrets would you take to your grave? Ooh. People think I'm crazy, batshit crazy, because I've chosen to live since I walked away from corporate America. Has it been rough? Yes. Have there been setbacks? Yes. Have I cried some? Yes. Have I missed meals? Yes. But ask me if I changed anything. Not a one, not a damn thing. Not one tear, not one sleepless night, because it's my life. And I'm under God's covering, so I'm good. So I ain't worried about nothing. So let me make this plain. Stop making excuses. You said tomorrow yesterday. You said tomorrow the day before that. And the day before that. Well, what if there's no tomorrow? You think the person that got up this morning to go to work and died in a car accident thought that was coming? Oh, okay. You right. You don't know when, you don't know where, you don't know how. So make the most of it while you can, people. So rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. 54 years young, gone too soon. But let his life and not his death be a reminder to stop playing small. You could tell he was a good dude. Like, he lived a great life, and he wasn't afraid to take risks. He didn't do things for the popularity and the money. He didn't have to. He did things because he loved what he did. What if you start doing that? Stop procrastinating. Stop fronting for people who, on the greater scale of life, they don't matter. Live your damn life. For real. Now, I could have chose several clips from the Cosby Show to play. I was torn between the Monopoly and the Gordon Gartrell, and when he got diagnosed with dyslexia, because that was another pivotal moment in Theo in Theo Huxtable's story arc was when he was diagnosed with dyslexia and what he did with it. And he said, in spite of, I'm going to succeed, and did. And it was Claire Huxtable. She gave a great monologue right before he graduated. She said something, I'm paraphrasing. Anybody else would have used that as an excuse to not try, to not do it because, I can't see words the way, I don't process information the way most people do. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, but you didn't do that. And you took it past the finish line. But my baby's graduating. Anyway, here's the Gordon Gar. You are gonna pay for this. Rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. It didn't have to go out like that, but again, you never know. Now let's get into some shout outs. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for always holding me down. Shout out to my producer Claude, who was late on the queue, but it's cool. Sepia. That's why we have rehearsals, people. Shout out to the Rant fam. Thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Share, comment, subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to monetization. Thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. Shout out to the Trifecta Hour fam who's on a vacation, but we still here doing the thing. Now, to some of you, this might be just another podcast, but to me, this is the next chapter in purpose. And I thank you for lending me some of your time. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to give me a few moments of your day. And for that, I'm grateful.